Sunrise. Don't know how good this is going to pick it up. We're about 100 miles to San Quintin. You're going to run across some, 7 of them to be exact. You're going to run across 7 military checkpoints. And good morning outside the windshield in Baja, California North. I got up and got an early start this morning thanks to the roosters that were sleeping in my area. Hope this doesn't bore you too much. I just want to give you, while we're looking at this terrain, a little bit of the history of the Baja. So from San Diego to Cabo San Lucas is 1,000 miles, about 1,600 kilometers. I did about 1/3 of that drive last night in the dark, so we missed some of that. Now, you got to be careful when you're coming down. Most of the roads are like this. They'll wind through the mountains as well. But when you're coming through the small towns, you'll come across topes, which are just another word for giant speed bumps. They'll launch your car. Also, you're going to come across 7 military checkpoints. We'll film a couple of those later on in the day. I don't think they like us to do that, but I'll sort of fool them and we'll do it anyway. Now, if you want to get through them easy, bring yourself some cold Coca-Cola. These guys are out in the middle of the desert. You hand them a Coca-Cola, it's not really bribery, but it sure gets you through easier. Just don't bring any illicit substances. I'll talk to you a little bit more as the trip progresses. This is the little village of San Vicente. Not much to look at. Just be aware, you'll come across a lot of these types of little villages on your way down. You're never more than a couple of hours until you come across something where you can get some food, usually get some gasoline. Another little hint, when you get down to half a tank, it's a good idea to give it a fill up, because sometimes there's areas that gasoline is very few and far between. So this is the Delegación San Vicente in Baja California Norte. As you can see, it's only a couple blocks long. I guess I should stop at this stoplight. Thank you for joining along on the voyage today. Unfortunately, this doesn't show it that good, but you'll see a bunch of vineyards as you're coming down here. This one here in the distance there on the mountain, oh, there's a car coming. You can't really read it that well, but it's Colorado Vineyard, and the sign down below says Sin Semilla, which means grapes without seeds. There's a little better picture of the entrance to the vineyard, and there's the worker there. And those vineyards, they go on for a long distance into the mountains there. This is a big vineyard. This isn't a fancy one. You can stop at some of the fancy ones and have yourself some wine if you like. I'm not a wine drinker, but if I was, I certainly would take advantage of this. Please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you. We appreciate it. So there's your highway to our left in this picture. It's beautiful, beautiful scenery with grapes growing everywhere. You'll see in the distance there, that's where they have their greenhouses. It's just plastic. It's not done fancy like in the United States. But these vineyards go for miles and miles and miles and miles. And I don't know how well it's going to come about, but up there on the hill, that's the actual vineyard where you can go and partake in their bountiful juices from the earth. Sorry, I'm on the highway. There's always lots of traffic noise here, but that's just another one of the vineyards right in this general area. So here's something interesting that the truckers do for you here. When it's safe to pass, they'll put on their left signal light. And when it's not safe to pass, which is not now, because I'm coming on a curve, then they'll put on their right signal light. Doesn't necessarily mean they're turning. It means that they're giving you knowledge of what's coming at you. So just a little bit of history on what you'll see while you're driving up and down the Baja. Be aware when you're driving in the Baja, there's long stretches of nothing like you see here. And then you'll see some very, very beautiful spots, which we'll be coming to shortly. Santis Pac is one of them. Mulahay is a gorgeous oasis in the middle of the desert. I'll be showing you some of those nice things, but I also wanted to show you the good and the bad. It's not all pretty. There's a lot of the 1,000 miles, probably about 500 of it is like this, but the rest of it is so scenic, which you'll see shortly coming up in the video. A little bit of agriculture to your right. I don't know exactly what they're growing in those greenhouses, but one of these days when I have time, I'll stop in and ask. This is the town of San Quintin. It's just a couple of layers of asphalt through the desert and dusty roads on either side. I'll just film this for a little bit. I'm going to spot somewhere along the way here where I'm going to stop in and grab a bite to eat. So San Quintin is one of the bigger towns you're going to come to. Most of the other ones are considerably smaller. It goes on here for another couple of miles. I don't want to bore you with that. I'll find a spot to eat and I'll show you what I'm going to have.